Bastards! I do want to take a look at this Monday slate, Christmas Day slate, and see what we're rolling. Do you want me to run the optimal for this?
Yeah, let's do that. I'm going to go load it up on my side here. It's the 3-gamer for Monday. We've got...
And there's a listeners league for this one as well, so I highly encourage you to go fill that right now. Let's go in. Christian McCaffrey's in this one. It's Hurts and DeAndre Swift.
Okay, Hurts. Oh, just one second.
DeAndre
Hurts.
Swift
Okay.
and McCaffrey.
Swift, McCaffrey. Surprise, surprise.
With
okay.
Rashid, oh my God, Tony.
Tony, Rice,
And Slayton, Kelsey, Wendell.
I was like, how does Wendell not get in there over Slate? No, they get them both. Don't you worry. And then the defense is Vegas?
It is Las Vegas.
Has to be, yeah.
So that's what the optimal is showing us for the Christmas Day slate.
I mean, it's literally
like the worst lineup. It's just you're just picking names out of a hat. Like here are like the 3 best guys and everyone else who makes the lineup work.
Yeah, like you can just change this in 2 seconds and swap the Vegas D to the Ravens and Hurts to Mahomes. And never Mahomes is for the main slates. Some of these small slates like this, especially where this...
Well, if you have Rice, Tony, and Kelsey in this lineup, it only
Right.
makes sense to play Mahomes.
And then you still have Swift, who hopefully can finally get in the box and leverage. I have no clue how Philadelphia stops at the 1 literally every time. Like Swift last week, 9 yards to the 1. And then it's Hurts getting it in. But this would at least make a little bit more sense. You've got 2 of the guys that just catch passes opposite of Swift. You got the 4-man stack, no run back. You got McCaffrey against the defense in this one, but who cares? Because McCaffrey can break any slate, anything, doesn't matter. So
could you envision playing this slate and not playing McCaffrey?
I will be doing that, but because I'm not going to lock him in, but anything can happen, but it's tough. Yeah, 9,500 on a short slate. The guys could score 25 and be all you need. So 20 be all. You just never know how it's going to shake out. And running back is not too strong or not too known in this spot. So I think he's going to be 80% here, something like that.
Let's take a look at the running backs on this slate. So if we say no McCaffrey, then you're completely wide open with what you want to do. Barkley is the next highest, and you have Pacheco is probably not going to play. Is that where we're at with Pacheco? Oh, no, he was full practice, so he's going to play.
Yeah.
So Pacheco's back. That actually, I think, kind of makes Jarek super intriguing. Because now no one will play Jarek. But we're into December, Jarek time, the closer we get to the playoffs.
Yeah, and I think Pacheco will get popularity as well, and he should, because like just the spot, the price, everything, but I like the Jarek call for that reason.
Well, it would either be like just trying to get different on this slate. It would either be Jarek for me or Gus, now that Mitchell's out for the year.
Yeah.
And terrible matchup. No one wants to play Gus, but they'll just continue to use him.
Yeah, I think people are still going to play Gus here because just there's no options. People are not playing Barkley at 6,800. I just can't see how they get there.
I don't see how you get there either.
It's tough. That's what I'm saying. But that's how you have to look at it. But I think
And Jacobs has not practiced yet this week, but Antonio Pierce says that he's going to play. I don't know whether that means he's going to be in the split with Zamir White, how much he's going to play, whether he gets all the work. It's a great spot.
Yeah. And you can get those check downs too. Like
that's what I mean. If
so.
you believe in his health enough that he's going to be out there to the normal extent that Josh Jacobs plays, then all of a sudden he's a great play. But if he's in any sort of committee, he's a terrible play.
What ends up looking kind of unique, though, is like I wonder, and we're going to build lineups. I know we're only on running back, but if you go like a Jacobs, McKinnon, you can definitely get away with McCaffrey at that point. And then you're going Philly passing attack, where instead of what we just saw with all those Kansas City receivers, you now can easily afford with a $6,200 Jacobs and a $5,200 McKinnon, hoping that game just goes that way on the ground. You can afford the Hurts with Devontae's or whoever you want to play him with, AJ, whatever.
Hey,
that looks
I have $1,900 left per player after filling out my lineup. I don't think that's going to work. Hurts, AJ Brown, and Devonta Smith with Jacobs, McKinnon, and McCaffrey doesn't work, unfortunately.
No, you're not going to get that. I'm saying, but we had no Philly passing guys. You had Hurts and Swift. So clearly you got to know that on this slate, when you've got the Wandales, the Slaytons, who do we talk about? Rice is going to be popular on this slate. And then the other stuff, you're just not going to see a guy. It's just like what we did in the previous spot, though. You're going to have to pick your dude. You're not going to get them all. We just had to go through Tyreek and Lamb. You couldn't get both. We didn't get a Tyreek Lamb lineup out of all those ones we did. We got one or the other. In this case, it's the same thing. Do you like Devontae Smith or do you like A.J. Brown? Let's just do Devontae for cheaper, for example.
Okay, so Jacobs, McKinnon, McCaffrey, Devontae Smith.
Yeah, and he's cheaper. And then you go to Goddard is 4,700. And now, who was the cheap D we were getting earlier? We were getting Vegas D. And now I think it fits the same as what we had before, almost like Wandale and Slayton. Yeah, exact same guys fit in. And you've got the 3-2 Philly, New York Giants. So you've got Hurts, Devontae, Goddard with Slayton and Wandale on the run back, McKinnon and Jacobs with the D, and who cares because it's just McKinnon you got going against them, and you still get to McCaffrey. It projects 8 points less than the original, and this is a way more unique lineup.
Let's build a Lamar lineup.
Let's do it. Disrespect, too, by the way. Disrespect to those Ravens. 5.5 point underdogs.
Well, I did see that.
You see that one?
I forget who said it's like it's disrespectful that we're. How did they not think like did?
Yeah, I'm a Ravens fan. I don't know. I'm fine. I just think I'm just more so making fun of the bit. That's what they're saying is like it's disrespectful. Lamar also said it's not a Super Bowl preview, so we in December. Like, who cares?
Lamar with Bateman.
Okay.
And what's Beckham?
No, I'd get Likely in.
For sure? Likely? 42?
Yeah, 42. I love that.
Like, do we just keep stacking this up? Do we just say Beckham as well? Because we save a bunch of money with Beckham.
I think I would see where you're at with this. You already have savings, 33 and 4,200. If you like Bateman more than Beckham, let's leave it like that. Or if we substitute in Beckham, do that. We could build a full overstack later, but where are we going here? Like, is this where you're getting Swift in?
I don't know. I was just checking on Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers is limited. It looks like he is going to play on Monday.
I think he's going to play, but I think you could also get off of him and just use Bateman. Like
sure, but I don't think many people will use him, even in Lamar stacks.
Yeah.
That maybe we throw him in too.
I would just take out Bateman for him. It's really, like, I mean, literally one of the biggest Ravens fans. You're not seeing very many games where these guys are all getting there, even on a 3-game slate. So
okay.
I like what you said, though. The Zay play for 5,500 when even if he gets, 15 to 20%, like that's nothing. And if he goes off, he's going to be a guy that's going to be with Lamar.
Yeah, you need a stupid 70 for 77 and a touchdown.
I think it's going to be like Lamar, Zay, and Likely. Like that is very likely, if you will. So there you go. So I could go that route, and you still have almost 5,500 left per spot. I just think now you got to think carefully of what you're doing because we're not on Hurts, who's going to be extremely popular. Is that where you leverage with Swift based on that? And
I would say that we cannot play McCaffrey in this lineup.
Do you like Debo?
Yeah. So we're actually, you know what? I like Ayuk at 67 better.
Okay. I don't mind that either.
So we'll throw in Ayuk. Throw in a defense. What defense would you go with? Do we just say Raiders and...
Could you go with like Raiders and Jacobs and just play the cheap prices? Or could you go Kansas City with Pacheco and hope he does something? If not, go even McKinnon. I don't know how you want to play it. I just think like... You got to think through it, like definite
Chiefs with Pacheco, I think, because if we're gonna say that it's,
I like that
Ravens and everything works. Like we could throw in another 49er into this lineup too. I don't think that hurts us all that much.
Can you get Debo in here?
You probably could.
Leaves you 2,900 if I go Swift. I think Swift.
Yeah, it depends on who you have. But if we use Pacheco with Chiefs D, then we're essentially canceling out the Chiefs offense. We're saying Kelsey doesn't do anything. Jarek doesn't do anything. Rice doesn't do anything. Mahomes doesn't do anything. It's actually just scored this way. So I think that logically that makes sense.
Yeah, especially when you're, like you just said, you nailed it. Lamar is saying no to Mahomes and saying no to Hurts. So it kind of makes sense to put those running backs in. I did just remember the craziest thing that you'll laugh at because I know you know this. Remember who for Philly crushes the Giants?
Boston Scott.
Boston Scott, and he's 4,300. Has he even played?
Barely.
I know Gainwell was getting in on the action. Yeah, 1 snap, 3 snaps, 6 snaps. Are they just going to troll everybody and bring his ass in for 4,300 and just do something? I don't know, but Gainwell is 48. He's only 500 more, and he actually has been playing like half the snaps every week. Six. I mean, he got a target. He's had games with targets, like everything. Like, I don't know. Like Gainwell is at least somewhat interesting if you want to hope for something here, but you can just play Swift and get away with it too. We still have 5,300 left.
Well, what if we just play Jacobs instead?
Of Swift?
Yeah.
Okay. I think if you play Jacobs, do you like playing with Pacheco or do you like just sticking with what we had with McKinnon earlier and then just decide on
if Pacheco's going to play, Pacheco's the better play.
Okay, so Pacheco.
And I think I don't want to say that we're different enough using Lamar, but I think we're different enough not using McCaffrey.
Oh, for sure. Definitely. And that's one of the things here too. I didn't realize Debo was $1,000 more than Ayuk on this. I like your Ayuk call. And even if others do, I kind of am still okay with that. I like this spot for him.
So if I throw in Jacobs, we have $5,100 left for all of these guys. I mean, we could play Kittle. Kittle and Ayuk and say that's how they score.
Yeah,
along
what's
with
that
the
look
Ravens.
like? What does Kittle do here?
And that gives us $4,800 for a receiver. Unfortunately,
That range
there's
is
no
a
one
dead
in that
zone?
range.
Wow. Man, that's interesting then. If you go down to your original take on Bateman, we're 100 short of Devontae Smith. Can't do that. Yeah, it puts us in a tough spot. Could you go, let's get Kansas City D and just say who cares and go the other way with it?
And just take Vegas?
Yeah.
Okay.
Either
Because
or.
we have
like,
Jacob, so that tracks.
It still kind of tracks, and that gets us 5,700.
Which doesn't...
Another no man's land.
Yeah. You could have Gus Edwards, but then you'd have to reconfigure because we need a receiver. Well, that's tough. What if we just change Ayuk to Debo? And now we have $4,700 for a receiver.
It lands you nowhere. I think you have to change Pacheco to Rice, and it gets you Gus Edwards. Oh, you're off by $100, but you already have the other side of it.
Pacheco to Rice. Yeah, we're already rolling an onslaught here.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's what I said. Like, yeah, and just it's hard to see that get there. But Ayuk and Kittle is also the part of the problem. You got both. What if you take Ayuk out and just go Kittle, double tight end?
I have Kittle still in. I have Kittle and Debo in.
Yeah, you went up. I'm saying that takes me in an even worse spot because I have 1,000 less to use. I was just looking at like, what if you just played Kittle instead of the receivers? Like, what if we do this? What if we go Zay, Bateman, Kittle, and get Likely out of there, and then see if we can get the double.
There we go.
In there. Let's try that.
We get Bateman
with Zay.
With Zay and Debo.
And let's take. I took Rice back out to go back just to see what it looks like.
That gives us to a $5,600 flex if we want to.
Which is, please tell me we have somebody.
Clyde, McKinnon, Myers.
It's that same area we ended in. Damn. Okay. Who's at 66? Oh, okay. Here's one. You take out Debo, and you can get Ayuk and Rice.
Okay. I like that more.
That's not horrible. I know you got two guys against your D, but it's a 3-game slate. It doesn't matter. So Jacobs with the D, and then you've got Rice, Pacheco, and then the stack is Lamar, Zay, Bateman with Kittle and Ayuk. That's pretty nice.
All right, so let's do that. There is one more I wanted to build.
Yeah.
And it's basically the same lineup, but we take Lamar out and put in Purdy because Purdy just scores 30 points a week.
Yeah,
could be good on this slate, and he's not.
And always play Joe Montana when you're $6,700,
and he's the fourth most expensive guy.
Yeah. So now,
you don't have to change much because you have Ayuk and Kittle in here.
That's true. Yeah,
and you hope that there's no rushing touchdowns from Debo or.
I think you can swap Ayuk with Rice.
Why?
Because then you'll be able to get. I'm pretty sure.
I mean, we have them both.
Oh, you almost get.
We have them both in anyway.
You get Devontae. I meant like their positioning place, and then you take out Rice and leave Pacheco, and it gets you 7,300, which is Devontae Adams. I thought it would get you 7,500 for Kelsey though.
Who is the worst tight end that we could play on this slate?
Oh, probably lots.
Michael. Well, Michael Meyer is $3,300, but he's not practicing. Like he showed up on the injury report Thursday out of nowhere.
Hooper
and didn't practice. That would be the guy. Would be Hooper.
So let's get Hooper in for Kittle for a second to see what that does. 10-3. We can get up to McCaffrey now, and a better defense.
And this is still with Pacheco, Jacobs, Rice, Flowers, Bateman.
Yeah, I was just trying to see those. If you've got like Pacheco, Hooper, we don't have Swift. Let me see if we can fit him now. Can we?
Why you're really big on Swift? I'm not big on Swift.
It's not really about that. Okay, this lineup's perfect. That's what I landed on, and it projects the best. It's about like you're saying Hurts is dead in the water here at $7,900. How did it like Philly is 14-point favorites at home?
Score?
How do they score?
Defense.
So this lineup is actually really nice. It's Purdy with Ayuk and McCaffrey. You got Bateman and Zay Flowers on the run back. You have Pacheco with Austin Hooper secondary stack, and it lands you on DeAndre Swift with the Philly D.
Oh.
That is a nice lineup right there.
There we go. All the money. Ours. Don't use it. It's mine.
Don't dupe us. Yeah, exactly. But I don't know. Like, again, it's not always how it works out, and there's so many things that are going to be stupid here. Like, literally, the Giants could go off. Philly's pass D is atrocious. It just got cooked by Drew Lock to end the game last week. I would expect them to bounce back here at home, but I'm saying anything can happen on these slates. But like you mentioned, going to this Brock Purdy side and just mixing it up, are people going to be playing Purdy, Ayuk, CMC Yes, or some versions of it, but then are they going to bring Bateman and Zay Flowers and use up all 3 wide receiver slots on 2 Ravens and a 49er? Probably not.
Oh, you have Ayuk and not Rice. I was like, I don't have any 49er pass catchers.
That's what you got. That's what I'm saying. So you get
no,
the 3-2.
I still had Rice in and not Ayuk.
And
so
again,
the other way to
Hooper,
play, there is one other way to play this, I think.
Okay.
Get rid of Flowers, get rid of Swift.
Okay.
Flex Likely, and then you can have... Nah, you don't get it. You'd have to completely give up on the Eagles because you could almost fit in Debo as well. And just say the 49ers scored 50 points.
Yeah, I could drop the Philly D down now too, though, to the
to 3,000.
Kansas City, but it only gets me 7,500, which is at that spot I can't.
You'd have to switch to it doesn't work.
Oh no, you could do this one though. Doesn't Rice return kicks?
I don't think so.
I thought he did sometimes, but
Mecole Hardman was activated, so I assume it's
true.
going to be him.
You can get Purdy, McCaffrey, Debo with just Bateman on the run back, and then only Vegas guy you have is Hooper. You get Bateman and Likely. Hooper's your run back, but then you have Pacheco, Rice, and Kansas City D to round it out. 3 Kansas City guys if you think they can just smash here, but you have no Philly, no Giants.
Yeah, I think we got to go back to what I had before.
The one we had before was nice.
So it was Purdy, Ayuk, Flowers, Bateman, with McCaffrey. And who was it? McCaffrey
Purdy,
and Pacheco,
Ayuk,
right?
Flowers, Bateman. Yeah, it was Hooper and Pacheco.
Hooper, that's right.
McCaffrey, and then Swift and his defense.
Yeah, that's the one.
It's got a shot, at least.
You could also do that exact same thing if you wanted to and have $800 left over with Jacobs and Raiders D instead of Swift and Eagles D, it looks like. Unless I'm missing someone here.
No, you're good. I just, like I said, I won't necessarily leave that game. Like, even this lineup here, it still projects okay and leaves that game out, but I just don't see how Philly 14-point favorites coming off of pretty bad, like a couple bad losses now.
Yeah, you would need the score of that game to be like 14-10 Eagles.
And division game. I know people say like there's ways that things can happen, but yeah, it's really tough to imagine. So yeah, I like that, and kind of like the slate actually. It's a fun slate for Christmas.
It's hard.
Yeah, it's what I like that about it. I do like that there's many different ways that you can go. You have 3 good games, and even though even though it's the Raiders versus Kansas City, it's Kansas City. You still got Mahomes, Kelsey, all those guys. Even though it's a division game, but Philly and New York, you still get good options there. And then I really love the game, obviously, on Monday night, even outside of being a Ravens fan. It's an awesome game to see how that thing goes. It could go way under, though. Sometimes you see these teams, these like 2 teams that put up all these points, and then everyone sees it play out, and then it ends up being like the 14-10 game or something. It's just all defense.
Well, that would be bad news for this lineup.
It would be.
I'll enter that one, and we'll be good to go on that front. You can play in the Christmas Day Listeners League along with the Sunday Listeners League. Merry Christmas, man.
Yeah, Merry Christmas. Happy holidays to everybody out there. We'll be back. Got a lot of coverage this weekend. We got the normal show on Sunday, Mayo Media Network, 9:45 a.m. Eastern. We're still talking main slate. I think next week is the last Thursday night football game, so I think we'll have the Monday Night Football show. Sorry, we won't, because it's set up for this. We have a 3-game slate show that we're doing, but Thursday Night Football back on the Mayo Media Network to round things out as well.
Yeah, and I don't think there's a Monday game the following week.
Right. I think that's what I meant. Island games, I think, besides obviously Sunday Night Football, I think end next Thursday for the Monday-Thursday games. So
all right.
Next Thursday, I think, is the last one.
That'll do it on the Pat Mayo Experience. Smash a like and sub to the channel while you're here. Rate and review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that fun stuff. Tell some friends about the show. That always ends up helping. And again, 9:45 a.m. Eastern Time on Mayo Media Network live. Tambo, Hoop, and the gang at shipitnation.com. Code Mayo over there if you want to get in on 10% off of all of their stuff. But that show is free, and they'll have all of the updates for you in terms of injuries, new lineups, how to build them, and maybe all the lineups we just built will all win $1 million, and we'll all be rich for Christmas. So we'll have $1 million, then Christmas. It'll be a great holiday season. Wouldn't that be nice, right? Thank you all for watching. I'm Pat Mayo. I'll see you next time.
Pat Mayo Experience! Experience!